Hello, welcome to my channel where we may be dazed, but we're not confused. We're going to be doing a New Horizons reading for the sign of Leo. So we are going to be taking a look at where you are currently, what you're leaving behind, what your hopes and fears are as you move into this new place, and what's coming up for you, and what you can kind of focus on as you move forward. So let's get into it with where you are currently. All right, Leo, from the spread of the cards that I see, it looks like you used to be in a place where you were very closed off, maybe feeling a little defensive, needing to protect yourself from some harsh energies that were around you. But you're showing up with the Queen of Cups energy and just really having this really warm space in your heart and kind of emoting that and allowing that to kind of flow from you. And I feel like other people can pick it up. You may even have some people around you who may have been very harsh and critical towards you, who might even be envious of this energy that you're emoting, or just wondering why it is that you are showing up with this very loving, happy energy when you have been in such a toxic situation. But I see that you are in a place where you've done some work to try to heal, and you're looking at yourself as having lots of opportunities. And as you do this healing, you're seeing the possibilities in your life beyond the mental emotional prison that you may have been in as a result of some of the environments that you have been in. I see that you are grounding yourself. You may have felt very ungrounded, and this might have kind of led to like flighty energy kind of being all over the place. And with that, being kind of pulled to and fro by the opinions of others, or maybe energies of judgment around you that you were picking up and taking on as your own. But with you really trying to hook in and focus on God as your source, or whatever your higher power is, you're no longer looking outside of yourself for validation, for support, or for love. And this is really going to kind of bring you up to where you want to be, because I see that you're coming into a space where you have lots of opportunities, and you are prepared to meet those opportunities from a healthy, balanced place. All right, let's take a look at what it is that you are leaving behind. So looking at your cards, it looks like you may be leaving behind some type of soulmate relationship, or if this is something that you're into, a divine partnership. It looks like it's whatever it was. There was definitely some type of soulmate connection and contract in which your partnership would have led to a very abundant place. I mean, this was above and beyond just a regular relationship. And that's not to take away from, just a relationship that may not be divinely inspired. At some level, all of them have their purposes. But if you're, familiar with that whole lingo, some partnerships come together because you have soul purposes and missions to do. And I feel like this is something that may have been divinely protected and guided, and it was kind of put together by, if you believe in your like angels or guides. But it looks as if it's something that, in the context of the cards we had before, was not viable. And as a result of that, is something that had to end, because those contracts do end, and they, if they're not participated in by both parties using their free will, it's not something that you force to happen. It's something that you can choose to not participate in. And if that's the case, then those can be, that connection can be separated so that you can move forward and have abundance and life affirming energy. Because really, with some of these cards here, like with the sensuality and the abundance, this is about life affirming energy. So these types of relationships are supposed to be life affirming. They're supposed to be procreative. It's about the creative energy of that, not just so much for procreation and the sake of having children, but in creating a type of experience or some type type of reality that you're living. And when it becomes anti-life, when it becomes harsh and toxic to the point where it is stealing vitality or it is taking life, then those can be ended because they are no longer bearing fruit. So I feel like that's something that you are leaving behind. I feel like you've made the decision to do that, and I feel like you've kind of been supported spiritually in doing so because it had become something that was the opposite of what it was meant to be. All right, so let's see what your fears were as you are moving forward. So in your fears, it looks like you may have been concerned about whether or not you could actually make this disconnect and move forward. You may be concerned that you can actually stick with it and be resolved and resolute in moving forward to blaze your own trail and just have faith in the process of what that actually means, having to go through all the emotions, the ups and downs of that, backtracking, moving forward, and then backtracking again. You may have experienced a little bit of guilt and feeling as if you may feel like you failed at something, and you may be experiencing it that way, like, oh, this is a failure, I should have tried harder, maybe this is supposed to be, it was meant to be. And this is very typical of divinely inspired relationships, or what you perceive as being that, because at a soul level you feel as if there's something that you're supposed to be completing or accomplishing, but because you're not able to do that, it's like a sense of mission not accomplished, or like you're abandoning ship. And I think you're afraid that you wouldn't be able to overcome obstacles or overcome anything, because if you can't do this, well, does this mean that I can do other things in my life? Will I be able to meet the challenges that will definitely come to me in different ways? I've been fighting this for so long, or trying to make this work for so long. If I can't do this, then can I do that? And I also feel like you may have been concerned that you would take on like a Queen of Wands in reverse energy. So, not really able to manifest, maybe gossipy, spiteful, envious, an angry woman. And I feel like the way that this panned out, that you probably had every right to be, but with the cards that showed up for where you are now, you're showing up in the Queen of Cups energy, to the point where this might be why people around you might have that sense of envy of like, well, how is it that you're able to be happy and so loving and just really nurturing yourself and finding your peace and your sense of validation within yourself, and not from what's going on around you externally. And so I think that you may have had some fear that you would slip into that, but it looks like you're not. And that even though you might have some concerns about how this is going to play out, you are trying to have faith in the process and be as positive as you can by grounding yourself in what your higher power is, the things that make you feel a sense of life, of vitality, the things that make your soul come alive, because we're in very depleting energies, things that we're depleting that, and we're very anti-life. And so that's what's kind of keeping you going. All right, let's see what your hopes are as you move forward. All right, so in your hopes section, it looks like you're really trying to listen for clarity or trying to receive some clarity and listen for truth about where you are, because you want to make sure that your next steps are well thought out, that you're not just kind of willy-nilly just doing whatever. Like, you're really trying to methodically move forward and be mindful of what you've learned so far, so that you don't make some of the same mistakes. I feel like you're really trying to tune into spirit and not be so inclined to hook into what people around you are telling you. And you're doing this by trying to focus on what you're grateful for, what you already have, and really trying to accent the positive and put effort into focusing on and putting energy into the things that make you happy, the things that you're grateful for, because you know that when you do that, it'll cause it to grow even more. And so with this, you might also be changing like your diet, or trying to be healthier by eating things that are not toxic, or less sugary things. being mindful of what's in your environment, what you take in, the types of interactions that you're in, the people that you're around, because you want to make sure that whatever you put into yourself, that you're kind of getting something similar back. I think you're recognizing the power of connecting with and things that are toxic or things that are, like I said, anti-life, and then creating anti-life situations or anti-life energy in your space. So you're trying to find life-affirming things so that you can create more life and more abundance around you. All right. So let's take a look at what's coming up on the horizon, what you're going to be walking into. All right. So it looks like moving forward, you're really going to be letting go of any of the guilt that you've had and harsh judgments that you have about your ability to overcome things, and just allowing yourself to make mistakes and to try. And even if you try and things don't come out exactly the way you want them to, you won't be so hypercritical that you just shut down and you don't do anything at all, because you might have felt kind of with that being kind of in your fears, that you're going to not be able to overcome obstacles, because maybe if you're not good enough to overcome this thing within a relationship, then how can you overcome other obstacles? But I feel like you're letting that fear or that feeling that you have go to the point where it's not going to be able to overpower you. And that is what's going to allow you to really take on that, that flowing vital force of energy that's going to allow you to make the things that you want to make, as opposed to things that you don't want. So as you're doing this, you may find yourself having an encounter. I don't want to say confrontation, but you might have a conversation with some of the people in the past, maybe this past partner, to kind of see where you are. And this might be where you can get some more understanding about yourself, or about where this person is coming from. But with this, I see that even after that, because you've come to this realization of what it is that you need in order to feel happy and fulfilled in your life and to be the best you that you can be, that you will still probably end up spending some time alone and being in solitude, because that's where you're going to get the most peace. I don't feel like this partnership was healthy and it was kind of stealing your peace. And when we get to the point where we're saying that it's like anti-life, then that's kind of a sign. And I see that you're also going to be maybe looking at what some of your beliefs are about receiving things that you need in order to make it. Like, you may have been a giver to the point where you felt like anytime you receive something, you were like asking for too much, or you didn't want to ask for too much. This tends to happen a lot with people who are very nurturing, specifically when it comes to money, being afraid to ask for money, be paid properly for what you're doing, because you see everything you do as a service, and so you feel like it's just something you should do out of the kindness of your heart. But I see that you're going to be really looking at what your resentments are about money or the system, and finding ways to integrate that so that you can also receive proper compensation in whatever form that is. It could even be a relationship as well, because that could also have played into this dynamic. But looking at how you may have resentments about the way those things are, and how that can cause you to push the things that you actually need and that you're deserving of away. And I see that, like, with you taking this stand and moving into this new space of finding your peace and joy within yourself, grounding yourself, really focusing on your higher power as being your source of validation, that, for the people around you who may have some kind of attitude about that, they may be watching with this Page of Swords in reverse. There might be a little bit of observing to try to see if you're going to flip into this Queen of Wands in reverse, because, like I said, the situation may have even warranted that. But with you using your free will to choose to not engage, it seems like your partner that you had this soul contract with used their free will to decide not to give or to play their part in that contract. So you've made the decision to use your free will to choose to put your energy into getting your validation and putting your energy towards your higher source, and allowing that to flow through you, and going on about doing what it is that you can do to feel as if you are serving some role in the grand scheme of our existence, whatever that may be for you, and feeling peaceful about that. And that might have some people looking at you to try to see, watching to see what you do. But I feel like you're comfortable with that because you are spending some time on your own and getting a grip on what's really important. You see it as a teaching moment for them to watch and see what it's like when you really connect with who you are, and you're authentic to your personal values and how you want to show up in the world. All right, that's what I have for you, Leo. I hope this was helpful for you. Thank you for joining me on this channel where we may be days we are not confused. I will see you on the next video. Bye-bye.